How you doing, everybody? I'm Tony Gaglione. Thanks for watching segment 3 of Smacktalk.
I'm Shawn Adams. We're going to start out here with some headlines. Normally we get to this first thing, but because of the NFL opening season, we wanted to recap.
Gotta talk football.
Pirates. They clinched their first Major League Baseball winning season since 1992.
And we love it.
Love the Pirates. Gotta see it. Gotta see it happen.
Dude, Andrew McCutcheon. You got Justin Morneau off a trade. You got Marlon Byrd, who came off a trade, and a couple, I think there's one or two that came off a trade besides that.
They got Joe
Buck. Before that, they were still killing it.
Yeah, definitely. They definitely loaded up.
This is Shawn's team to win the World Series, by the way.
That's right.
I think it's Pirates, A's, World Series. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Speaking of the A's, Moneyball! Look at their payroll. If you ain't got nothing to do, go look at their payroll. I think they're 2 games up on Texas right now. They got 83 wins. They're probably going to finish, and I'm going to say this right now, probably going to finish with like 93 or 95 wins.
Makes me
somewhere in there.
It makes me smile because baseball is not all salary caps now.
Yeah.
It's not what you have to spend.
Well, as long as you don't buy steroid players, apparently.
Well, that's true. Even though the Yankees might make it to the friggin' playoffs
I know, that's so
with A-Rod.
Hey, screw the Yankees. The Royals are 4 games back of the wild card.
They ain't making it nowhere.
I know, but the Royals!
They're 4 games back. They had a little run. Fantastic. They ain't going to do anything. A's, Pirates, World Series. That's what I'm calling.
I'd love to see it.
We'll see what happens.
Speaking of the A's, how do you think the Angels feel? They got Pujols, Hamilton, Trout.
Hey, man.
Torrey Hunter. They got Weaver. They got all these C.J. Wilson, their pitchers.
I got a noose. I got a gun. I got a bullet. I got a knife. What you want? Because you might as well kill yourself with that payroll.
Yeah,
you might as well kill yourself with that payroll.
they're selling tickets, but they're not going anywhere anytime fast.
That's ridiculous. Oscar De La Hoya is going to rehab. He's going to miss Canelo Alvarez's fight, even though,
What was that? Oh, wait. He admitted to cocaine use. Yeah, but he's admitted to cocaine use before. I think painkillers is like the new thing.
He said it was painkillers.
You crumple them up and you sniff them
like a heroin thing. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
He's a moron, as most athletes that are millionaires end up to be.
When you're not boxing anymore and you're promoting, there's nothing better to do than drugs. Apparently.
Apparently. We don't agree with that, but apparently. Dude, you can't sit there and come out and you're
Isn't Canelo Alvarez? Isn't his on his Golden Boy promotion?
But he is. But you're a triple-digit millionaire. Like, he has to have $100 or $200 million, and he decides he wants to do drugs.
Hey,
get it together, bro.
It's cocaine, bro. It's a rich man's drug.
Go, drive some go-karts or have some fun that way.
Drive some go-karts.
What's the big deal?
Hey, what about Patrick Dempsey, the guy from Grey's Anatomy? He's got a show where he's driving Le Mans race cars. The Le Mans.
No, I didn't know that.
You didn't know that? Patrick Dempsey, the actor. He's driving Le Mans cars. Hey, you got millions of dollars. You got nothing better to do. Try something new. Positive.
Yeah.
Not,
hey. You start a business. Be productive.
Well, not a promotion business for the boxing, apparently, because that doesn't do it.
Do something with yourself.
I want to talk about some things in the NBA. LeBron James might opt out of his 2014 contract.
Cleveland!
Yeah, he's going back to Cleveland. We're calling it right here. He's going back to Cleveland.
Yeah, he's going back to Cleveland. Without a doubt, he's going back to Cleveland. He's going to win a title there.
Okay. Or he goes to Chicago, and him and Derrick Rose become the new that thing.
He might go to New York. That's what I heard, too.
Oh, Carmelo Anthony.
I heard that, too.
Yeah, Carmelo Anthony.
So, I mean, wherever he goes...
Hey, you know what I say? Go to the Celtics. Go to the Celtics.
No, don't do that. No, don't do it. Just because I'm a hater. I don't like Boston. Either way, wherever he goes, instant title contender.
Oh, yeah. Of course.
Instant.
Look at Cleveland when he was there.
If he puts... Oh, God. If he puts himself with Derrick Rose, that's better than Dwayne Wade. You got Joakim Noah and Derrick Rose with LeBron James?
I don't know about better than Dwayne Wade, but I'll give you the argument.
Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh couldn't do what Derrick Rose and Joakim Noah could do. That's a winner.
We'll see when he leaves.
Speaking of the Bulls, Luol Deng doesn't really want to stay with the Bulls. He turned down their recent contract offer and he wants to eye some free agency. Maybe he wants to go to Miami.
Yeah, hey, you know what's going to happen? He's going to go to Miami, and LeBron's going to go to Chicago, and then he's going to feel like
Good. Because I'm tired of seeing people collaborate and get together and just join one team.
Hey, LeBron should go to the Lakers.
The NBA sucks. The NBA sucks. I mean, I love basketball, college basketball especially, but the NBA sucks. These players they want to go somewhere where they can collaborate with other players and just make like a Manchester United or a Manchester
Yankees.
a Yankees team where they just buy up the good talent and win titles. Like, it doesn't work like that. Doesn't work like that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. The thing that disappoints me most about the NBA is that what happened to sportsmanship? These players just want money.
What sportsmanship?
Well, they just want money. I mean, they got
I haven't
flopping.
seen sportsmanship in the NBA since the early 90s.
I won't disagree with you. I just think that with all these players going to these big teams, everyone's spending money. What they're doing is they're creating an atmosphere for these younger players that tells you it's not about playing the sport. It's about how much money you can get.
Yeah. And you know what?
I'd like to see LeBron James go to the Washington Wizards.
Ain't gonna happen. What I like to see is defensive teams.
Go to the Sacramento Kings!
Yeah. Just forget that. What I like to see is defensive teams in the NBA. I'm not tooting my own horn by saying Chicago's defensive team, but they are.
Quality defensive team.
Best thing I've seen in the last 2 years is Kirk Heinrich football tackle LeBron James on the way to the hole.
Yeah.
And say, I'm going to take the foul.
No, not me.
Dude is not making the layup.
What was the one? Was it Ron Artest or was it, who was it that J.J. LeBray? When he clotheslined the Bray, the Mavericks run, that was the best play I've ever seen.
You know what? And
it's like, welcome to the WWE. Somewhere
Goldberg
the Ultimate Warrior is like, the Ultimate Warrior is like, yeah! Randy Savage is like, snap him in half. It's just what it's creating is that 2014 free agency is going to be just like it was when LeBron left.
That sucks.
It's going to be a decision.
So what? You live in Miami and all of a sudden you have to worry about your team being relevant or not now?
Yeah, apparently.
Come on.
Let's go to the soccer. We
Yes.
talked about in segment 1, United States going to the World Cup. 2-0 victory over Mexico. 49th minute. Eddie Johnson header. The goalie's nowhere near the ball. Okay?
Joe? Not Joe. I don't know his name. Corona.
Yeah, Joe Corona.
Joe Corona?
Yeah,
Is that
Corona.
it?
Yeah.
Okay. Joe Corona is 5 yards out of the goal.
Yeah, and he's going backwards.
He's behind where the header actually came from.
But the thing is that was unique is that was the same header play that Eddie Johnson almost scored in the first half, except Gonzalez ran the pick. This time, Clarence Goodson ran the pick, and it looked like Corona went to Gonzalez.
Yeah.
Because he thought the pick was coming there, and Johnson just goes in front.
Well, I don't know who he thought he was, but the ball came in real easy for a goal.
Yeah.
That was 1-0. U.S. ended up winning 2-0.
Yeah, Max Dixerud.
Yeah.
He got a cross that Dempsey missed, but Landon Donovan's there for
I think he was aiming for Dempsey.
Yeah.
The point of the matter is Donovan always knows where he's supposed to be.
Yeah, exactly.
And he took charge of that ball and put it in.
I want to talk about something. Mexico won the gold medal at the Olympics.
Dude.
They're in danger. They've only got 8 points. They're in danger of not qualifying for the World Cup.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people
right now Honduras
consider
is up 2-1 on Panama.
Yeah,
right now, as we're talking. Costa Rica drew
to Jamaica 1-1. So Costa Rica missed their chance to automatically qualify tonight because they had to win that game. But just a couple months ago, after the Olympics, people were talking about Mexico being a dark horse to win the World Cup. They're not a dark horse at all. Yeah. They're not even in the race. Their horse is in the stable with like a broken ankle because they can't do anything. And we talked about this while the game was going on.
They're being pushed along to even make the World Cup.
That's what I'm saying. But when they get the ball, they don't have any creative players. It's like we talked about it. They had one goal scoring chance late in the game.
Sure.
And it wasn't a build up. It was like a just kick the ball in there.
We're going to throw it up into the box and somebody's going to head it in.
Yeah.
Most of their goals end up coming from crosses, and that's what the way they play in Mexico. That's the way they were taught to play, and that's the way that they showed in the World Cup qualifying. However, once teams know that, they block it out.
Yeah, they
and
just
it's simple as that. And they haven't changed it whatsoever.
No, that's the thing.
Whatsoever.
Why do they put Chicharito up there by himself?
Chicharito is Javier Hernandez from Manchester United.
Yeah, he's a great player.
Fantastic striker. He's an all-star striker.
But he needs build-up play before service. You can't just run the wings and cross the ball in and have 5 defenders and one short little Mexican guy.
And on top of that, you got Giovanni Dos Santos sitting in the center mid, and he's making his runs, and they're running it to the outside.
They're running to the outside, and nobody's there to help him.
The ball.
That's
and when he does, he makes a great play. Howard made a heck of a save on him earlier
Yes,
today.
yes.
And
I was telling you, Giovanni DeSantos, he used to play for Tottenham, plays for Mallorca now. He's a player that when he gets those little touches on his feet, all he needs is to shake that left foot, and he's going to curve that ball.
He can bend it in.
He can bend it in, and he did it to Howard. Howard made a great save.
Yeah, sure.
But nobody else is in the middle.
But you know what? That's the only time he touched the ball like that.
Yeah.
It's the only time, and it was by an accident because the outside wings weren't available.
That's right. That's correct.
So the first line that they go to is the outside wings, and then we got it covered in the inside. Everybody's got it covered in the inside.
Mexico, we talked about this. We said this in a previous show. They fired Chepo, the interim coach. He's not going to be the interim coach anymore because they just got their butt kicked. Mexico needs to go back to the drawing board. And you know what? You know what I say they need to do? They don't need to go get a Mexican coach. They need to go get a coach who knows soccer.
A European coach from England, a European coach from Germany, like the U.S. did with Jurgen Klinsmann. They pulled in a coach from Germany instead of getting a U.S. coach like Bob Bradley. Once Jurgen Klinsmann came in, he turned this whole program around. The U.S. are relevant in world soccer now because of him. You cannot just rely on your nationalities.
Not only that, Klinsmann, when he came in, he took the young players and he played all those friendly games and he figured out who he wanted. And that's the thing. I could name you 5 coaches in the championship, the minor leagues of European soccer, of English soccer, that would be a better coach than any Mexican coach that coaches UNALM or Tigres
and it has
or
nothing
Cruz
to do
Azul.
with Mexican soccer. It has nothing to do with that whatsoever.
It's
the quality of coaches that are out there right now.
It's about the fans.
Yeah.
The fans deserve to see quality football.
And they should, especially in Mexico, because they have the quality of player.
Yeah, the player in Mexico is a quality player.
It's huge. It's world class. So why not have a world-class coach to go with those players?
One thing I want to say.
I agree 100%.
Before we close the segment, one thing I want to say this. Carlos Vela, former Arsenal player.
Oh, dude, you got to come back to Mexico.
He's turned down Mexico because the little...
Yeah, they were talking about his family and things like that.
Yeah.
Sure.
They need him. Chicharito needs a strike partner.
Yeah.
And whatever Mexico, what they do, they need to get a coach who's going to mend the fences and say, look, dude, we need you. You are our guaranteed starter. They need to do whatever it takes to get that guy. And that's like Landon Donovan or Clint Dempsey having a problem with another player and Jurgen Klinsmann just be like, we don't need him. No, you do.
No,
you have to go back and do what necessary to get him there. You know, you need a coach. Neil Warnock, Leeds head coach. His contract's up. I can name 4 or 5 just guys in English soccer. There are people in Spain, in Germany, in Austria, Belgium leagues,
and they would chop the
bit to coach
in Mexico.
Yeah.
Because they're quality and they have world-class players like we were talking about. Yeah. So it's not like you're coming into Norway or Iceland or Austria where players, they have to up and come and they have to, you have to grow with them.
No, you have the
These guys are there already.
They had a 32-year-old Mexican. They had a 32-year-old guy tonight on the team, Jimenez.
3 caps.
3 caps. This guy is shooting the ball from 30 yards out. The ball's got pace on it. He almost hit one. Yeah, he's killing it. And why has he only got 3 caps? Because Chepo doesn't know what he's doing.
Idea what
he's doing. Exactly.
Without a doubt.
So, recap, United States wins tonight. They're automatically into the World Cup as long as the score holds Panama 2-1, which it should be. United States, book your tickets to Brazil. We're going to the World Cup. Next thing we'll do, we'll tune up with the 2 games that we have remaining.
Yeah.
And then it'll be the draw, and hopefully we don't get screwed with the group of death in the World Cup.
That would be really bad.
Hopefully we get a good draw, but I'd like to say thank you guys for tuning into the show. Yep. Stay tuned for segment 4. We'll do our top 5. I'm Shawn Adams.
I'm Tony Gaglione.
Go USA.
Definitely. USA all the way.